Morning. I'm at Kit Marina today, heading to a Bavaria 45 to do a little bit of kind of coaching and private tuition, just to work on someone's skills. They passed their day skipper recently and they've bought their own boat, and they just want someone to come out and kind of help them get used to it. And he's got a very, very special trip in mind that's probably going to take him the next few years. But I'll let him tell you about that. And we'll go and see his boat first. Here she is. This is the boat. She's a 45-foot Bavaria called Audi at the minute, but I think that's going to be changing. I think this is quite a new boat to this guy. Hey Colin, how you doing?
Hey mate. How you going?
All right, not so bad. Nice boat.
Thanks, buddy. Let's get yourself on board.
I will do that. Oh, look at that. She's got a big swim platform and everything. Oh, this is lovely.
That's the cocktail deck.
The cocktail deck. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Get up, you need a hand?
No, I'm not that old. So tell me about it. It's in mast furling.
It is in mast furling, so if you come all the way forward. You got the furling jib all the way forward.
Yeah.
2 lines running to the back.
Oh yeah, nice. That's nice. Is that a locker?
The
oh,
anchor locker forward, and then the sail locker in the back.
I love a deep locker like that. They're fabulous.
There's also a water tank underneath the bottom there. That's a forward water tank.
Oh, and you've got a proper kind of what do they call it? Collision bulkhead.
Yeah.
So for your chain locker.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. And do they come off the steps? So you can use
they
them
come
on
off.
the side? Oh, brilliant. Okay. Hang in the guardrails.
Yes, mate.
Ah,
very
nice.
proud of those. Just did those.
You do them yourself?
Yep. Changed them
good.
out from the PVC coated stainless steel wire because you couldn't see the stainless steel wire.
Yeah.
And now I can see them clearly.
So she's quite beamy, isn't she? She's a big boat.
She is quite a big boat, but she sails well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does all right. She's a bit of a slapper.
A bit of a slapper.
Bit of a slapper.
In a big waves.
In a big waves. But she goes okay.
Nice hatches.
Yep. That's down into the forward cabin.
Have you got? There's no. So you can't put anything on. So it is just the one.
It's just the one. Yeah.
A nice swept back spreaders.
Yeah. They do need it clean, so don't be. I've only just got this boat.
Yeah.
So don't be too.
It's not looking too bad. I can see there's a little bit of grubbiness on the ropes and stuff still, but you know how long it was sitting before you bought it?
I don't actually. I'm gonna guess it probably sat for about 6 to 8 months in sunny Scotland, where it does love a bit of rain and a bit of algae growth.
Yeah. Everything's in the cockpit.
Everything's in the cockpit. Which makes it really handy.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some water. Some of that Scottish rain on the camera. And you've got two main sheets.
I believe it's called the German main sheet system. Yeah. So, and I can only guess that it's probably from protecting it from when you accidentally jibe it, the boom doesn't swing across too far.
Yeah.
But it is quite handy.
It's two individual sheets. It's not
It is 2 individual sheets. Yeah. So they control them. Each line is separate and running back.
Yeah.
It is quite cool. Come through.
2 wheels.
2 wheels, yeah, dual rudder. Makes turning a dream. So back here as well, you're heeling over a little bit fancy. You've got the little kick step out so that you could just stay flat.
Yeah. On this side as well. Yeah.
Both sides, yeah.
And is this just a lazarette?
Say again?
Is that a lazarette?
That is a lazarette, yeah.
And this looks like a tailgate of a big truck.
That is the cocktail deck, which actually folds down. So once we drop the dinghy, the cocktail deck falls out, which makes it quite nice if you are going swimming.
Yeah, yeah.
It also works on remote, which I recently found out.
So you can put it up when you go to the pub,
Yeah.
and then bring it so nobody else can get on your boat.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. She does sit quite high out the water as well, so that is really handy that you've got easy access to get back on board.
And let's have a look at your instruments. So you've got they're still on as well. Oh, that's excellent. Have a look. So Garmin, and that's connected up to your Garmin. Oh, that's a Garmin.
That is the Garmin chart plotter.
On thrusters.
Yeah, bow thruster.
I heard an interesting thing about these. You've got to remember to press both buttons to turn it on.
But you only get reminded of that once you take the whole panel off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to check the
But
wiring.
it's only one to turn it off. That's so that's a good thing to remember, guys. 2 buttons to turn it on, and only one to turn it off.
Yeah, but pretty handy with a bigger boat in a tight marina space.
And a nice compass. You've got another compass on that side as well.
Yeah.
And a really cool table. That's one thing I miss on my boat. We don't have any table in the cockpit.
Oh man,
And,
launches up,
and it's nice.
raises up for parties.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's fabulous.
Some storage in the tables. Got all the packets from snacks. A smoker in there. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Come on in. If you wanted to look, this is where the 2 lines come back.
Oh yeah. Oh, they are really good jammers as well. That's nice to see some proper quality clutches.
Yeah, it's needed. There are a plethora of winches on this boat.
1, 2, 3, 4,
6
5,
winches.
6. No, there's not at the mast, is there? There's things here.
No.
I won't tell you how many I've got on my boat.
Woo! Nice and warm.
Oh wow! So this is quite big, isn't it? Yeah, I guess that's where that beaminess is coming in.
Yeah, it is very roomy, quite comfortable. Very comfortable. 2 aft cabins.
Oh yeah, you can really see how the wider beam makes such a big difference.
Yeah, those are
Lots of space.
full-size double beds back there.
Yeah. And is that en suite?
Both cabins en suite.
Oh wow!
Wet heads.
Yeah. And it's a shower as well.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. Turn the switches up.
Come on through.
So
Right.
you've got a good chart table.
Good chart table. That is it's doubling as the work table because I work remotely at the moment, which is quite handy.
And this is all your electrics there. That's a nice. I like that. That's so much easier to remember where the buttons are when you can see what they do.
Last night this was the place of history making, watching South Africa win the World Cup.
Did South Africa win the World Cup?
Record 4th time. Mate.
Four times.
We don't like to brag about it, but we just thought I'd mention it.
Oh, okay. And this is, how do you find the galley then? This is quite a
Galley's
good
pretty
spacious
cool.
galley.
When you're out and you are leaning over a little bit, these are great because you've got this to lean on. You also got these handrails.
And that's what's often missing in a lot of modern boats I've seen is people seem to forget handrails, but you've got a full. That's a full length of the galley, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can get all the way around there,
All the way.
and you can reach that. You're straight down the steps. You can reach that straight away, and
Pretty
then
easy,
you're protected. Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's got microwave. Got is that a gas one? It's a gas one.
That is a gas one,
It's a
yeah.
gas one. And is that a fridge? No,
That
that's
is
not.
a fridge.
This is a fridge, yeah.
That is a fridge, yeah. We open that. It's not working at the moment, but the fridge is in there.
Ah.
And then you've also got a top loader fridge back here, which set to the correct temperature will be your freezer. So you
Right,
know
so
that is a
that'll
standard
freeze.
freezer that will freeze, yeah.
Right.
So you've got a lot of storage for a lot of travel
Yeah.
in there. As far as storage is concerned, all the seats lift up. So you've got
Is that for the World Cup?
that. That is the World Cup, yeah. So a
You
lot
didn't
of
drink very much. Is
a lot
that
of.
still there?
I actually don't drink.
All right.
It's for the guests.
Oh, okay.
So storage in all the seats, your battery and electrics are underneath the chart table seat. But you got a lot of space
Yeah.
to stack a lot of stuff. All the seat backs come back as well because you can see there's space underneath the shelter.
And there's good light. You can see there's a lot of hatches there, and then the light's coming in the side as well. That's nice.
It's pretty cool.
Nice, spacious, and light. Oh, lovely.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's interesting. It kind of feels orientated across the boat, whereas most saloons are orientated along the boat. It has that kind of a very different feel, which is quite an interesting change.
Coming through.
Mm.
Turn these lights on. This is the main cabin. We've got another toilet here.
So that's 3 toilets. Is this a shower as well?
No, this isn't a shower. This is just a standalone. Okay, the shower's right behind you. So
okay.
the boat has
right. So you got a shower here, and you got a toilet here.
2 wet heads, a separate toilet, and a separate shower. And then a very spacious forward cabin.
Wow, that's enormous.
Storage at the top of the beds, storage on the sides, and storage on the sides. So
and is that full width?
That is full width.
And you play the guitar?
I'm learning. You know, like when someone's really bad, but you can still hear what they're playing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
So why didn't you tell us why you bought this boat?
Well, it's a bit of a crazy idea. A lot of people say that it's crazy. I'm South African by birth. Well, Zimbabwean by birth, grew up in South Africa. Mm. I've got 2 British parents that grew up in Manchester. And at some point I did my DNA probably about 4 years ago, and I was less intrigued or less fascinated by my ancestry and more fascinated by how many genetic matches I had,
right,
and how far across the world they were spread. Now I'm not unique in that, because everybody's got ancestors upon ancestors that all migrated to different parts of the world, right? But I thought it captured my imagination in that, how did they get there? When did they get there? How did they travel there? How long ago did they travel there? And what were their stories? And so I started looking into it a little bit more and starting to match things up, and talking about matches from as far across as China all the way to Colombia, to Chile.
Right, that's a big...
So spread across the world.
Literally right across the world.
How did they get there, right? And so was fascinated by that. I've started working with a genetic genealogist to find out how we could get those genetic matches, if we could map a way to get to them. And what I thought about doing was traveling to them on this boat, spending a week with them, talking about them, their family, their history.
On the boat?
On the boat.
Yeah.
And at the same time learning to sail a little bit together.
Right.
And just spending that time together. And if we could find out when our earliest genetic match was in a time in history, a period in history, that we'd finish up at the end of it doing a historic reenactment,
right,
from that period that our ancestor may have been at. You know, they're not necessarily all going to be famous or in the news or anything,
no.
but it definitely happened in their time and in their part of the world. And I thought that would be a great way to, I suppose, tell a whole bunch of other people's stories.
Yeah. But it's also kind of part of your story, because it's part of kind of where you've come from as well.
It's definitely part of my story, but it's definitely more their stories that I'm interested in. And the other thing is, you know, we're talking about matches from China all the way to Chile. It just, for me, it's fascinating that you know, we're all connected.
Yeah.
And there's a great song by a South African artist called Johnny Clegg, who's sadly passed away now. But the song Scatterlings of Africa, because ultimately that's where we're all from.
So what does Scatterlings mean? What's that?
The Scatterling is a vagabond.
Okay, right.
And just a constant traveller, blowing in the wind, a scattering in the wind, I suppose. Right. And that's how the world is populated. And that is kind of in reverse. I'm trying to tell that story as a whole by telling everybody else's story. Yeah, which is crazy. I get it.
It's not crazy if that's
going to be a whole lot of fun.
If that's a dream, that's a dream, and I can see it's a dream that's big enough to buy a boat.
It is a dream that's big enough to buy a boat. It's a dream that's big enough to, you know, because that's the dream. But it's got to start somewhere, right? So it had to start with a boat. It had to start with me learning to sail. which was the back end of COVID. The only holidays that you could go on were bloody to get onto sailing with a test, because you're all in the boat. So as long as you were clean, nobody was going to get any sickness. So I went along and did my competent crew. Shortly after that, did my day skipper. This boat came up, and it was too good of a deal to miss. So I bought the boat. We are moored up in Scotland at the moment, and that's where I met you. And we're going to spend some time sailing and
because we met on a it was an diesel course, wasn't it? Yeah.
On a diesel course, which is fascinating in itself. But yeah, so looking forward to spending some time with you, getting out there, putting the boat through its paces, and just enjoying some of the variable weather conditions that.
They say if you learn to sail in Scotland, you can sail anywhere in the world. So it sounds like that's going to set you up pretty well for the next.
Yeah.
How long is this going to take? Do you think? Do you have a?
I don't think there's an end to it. I think this is a lifestyle journey.
Okay.
Yeah, which sounds like a very weird thing to say.
No, not at all.
But I think I've heard stories about people that go, I've taken a year off work because I can sail around the world. Yeah. And 6 years later they're still doing it.
They're still doing it. Yeah. So
I don't know that there is an end time to it. I suppose part of the difficulty of this is you have to imagine somebody else, a genetic match of mine that did their DNA, and they're sitting at home, and then they get a message through the app that they did their DNA through from a random guy saying, "Hey, I'm from South Africa, fancy spending a week on the boat with me," talking about you and your family, just the two of us. So that is a bit strange. I've kind of got to work out how.
So have you contacted any people yet?
Absolutely. I suppose the first one didn't have anything to do with sailing at the time. Because I was on holiday back home in my hometown in South Africa.
Right, South Africa, right.
And met up with a guy, his name's Trevor, who I had no idea. I grew up in this town, and I thought that all of my relatives lived
So this was
abroad.
in your hometown?
Lived in my hometown.
Right, and you didn't know him?
I had no clue.
Right.
Subsequently, I was back home in South Africa. I contacted Trevor and I said, "Hey, fancy hanging out and having lunch?" And sat down with him at a beach club restaurant and recorded his story. So we'll be putting that out, and it's fascinating because I suppose not even he's clear on what the story is.
Yeah.
And then there's a mix from like a way back, which includes St. Helena. So there's some ancestry in Trevor's side through St. Helena.
Right.
We know that our relationship is through my mother's side of the family, because he has another match that is my uncle, so that's our common match.
Right.
So that kind of confirms that it's from my mum's side, and that might come down his paternal lineage or his maternal lineage. That part we haven't actually discovered or uncovered yet. But I grew up in this town. He lived less than 12 kilometers away, and he's a match. And so it kind of, people lose contact, or family lose contact, or maybe families get too big. Other people go on to do some other stuff. I mean, there's some other interesting stuff. A chap in Ireland reached out to me, trying to find out how we were related. Turns out it's through his father's side of the family. So one of my first trips will be a crossover to Belfast.
Yeah, well, Ireland's not that far away from me. That's like 2 days trip.
It's so we'll get across there, and
so will that be your first trip?
He'll be the first trip and the first one on the boat.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Basically.
And do you have a time scale for that yet?
That's going to be summer, early next year. So probably in the next 4 or 5 months.
So the next few months is that kind of like working on the boat? And
the next few months is got to get the boat out the water, got to redo the anodes, got to redo the anti-fouling, need to make sure that the standing rigging's up to scratch. So winter period is going to be working, but not all of it's going to be on the hard. Want to take the boat out, probably spend a month on the hard, get the boat back in the water, and then just get back to sailing. Because like anything, the bigger the journeys get, you can get overawed by how big the journey's going to be. But if you kind of chunk it up and just get ready for the little pieces, so practicing sailing around here with the variable weather conditions, getting ready for the stronger winds, getting ready for the different conditions that you'll bump into. You can plan as much as you can, and I suppose planning to avoid those conditions is the best, but planning to be able to handle those conditions is even better. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be in them, but if you end up in them,
you don't want to be in them.
You want to know what to do if you do end up.
Yeah,
in them.
absolutely.
And if you're doing big trips, then you've only got 2 days of accurate weather. Yeah. Beyond that, anything could happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. So after Ireland, have you got a next one planned?
Yeah, next one after Ireland will be back into Glasgow actually.
Okay. Right.
Glasgow to reach out to some people there and see if they're interested in spending the week. So back into this marina probably. After that, got to get up to Wick in Scotland.
That's a nice trip.
And then over to Norway.
Right.
And that'll kind of follow my ancestry that it is today, with some matches along the way. More interested though in the matches that I can't really put my finger on how they happened at the moment. But a lot of that is in so on both my mum and dad's side, on the male side of the family, they go back to Ireland pretty sharp quickish. So my last name is Burns, but probably about 150 years ago it was actually O'Byrne.
Right.
So there was a change there. It's tough to match down with paperwork matches in Ireland because they had a census. All the census documents got burnt in about the 1920s.
Right.
So you've got to find creative ways using dog licenses and landlord stuff like that. So my genetic genealogy, not my genetic, the lady that I work with, Rachel is in it. She's digging into all of that at the moment because I'm from a third world country. I can't.
God, who would have thought dog licenses would help you find?
It's amazing. It's amazing what they can do. And then from the Irish sort of background, a lot of those guys went to America. So around the Chicago area and the New York area, there are about 4,000 matches, and we can tell that we can kind of guess that. I suppose that's the migration route that a lot of people went out that way. And the period of time that they ended up there is kind of, there's multiple people going at different times, so you've got stronger matches from varying ages.
Chicago, so that's up the St. Lawrence and into the Great Lakes.
Yeah. So that'll be a fascinating trip. I don't see a lot of that being advertised, but getting up into the Great Lakes. So that'll be some fun, and then also getting down to the West Indies. So the Barbados and the Caribbean. There's some matches in the Caribbean. Really interested to see how those link up.
I'm sure you'll find a lot of people willing to come and help you for that trip.
Yeah, I know that might be
maybe not so many going to Norway or Wick, but you'll find lots of people wanting to help come to the Caribbean.
Yeah, you've just got to go there where the story takes you.
So the boat's called, is it Audi at the minute?
It's Audi at the moment. So so
that was the name that it had when you bought it.
That is the name that it had when.
But that's not what you're going to keep, is it?
No, we're going to call it Scatterling
Scatterlings.
after the Scatterlings of Africa.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, because I think that's great. Scatterling also blows in the wind.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing, and really looking forward to actually just getting out there on Scatterling.
So how are you gonna share this with other folk? How is that gonna
share the story?
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to know the story.
Yeah.
It's everybody's story. You know what I mean? Like, they're my genetic matches, but I'm their genetic match, and they've got other matches. So this all becomes part of everybody's story. So when we spend the week on board and we do a bit of sailing and we do a bit of hanging out, I do want to do interviews and put them all on film, and be releasing that on YouTube videos as well.
Right. So there'll be a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. This is jumping the gun a bit, but a Patreon channel, definitely a website, tracking, and then looking to put up. If anybody's interested, they can jump on and follow the boat wherever it goes. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to that.
And if people wanted to join you, is that something that they could do?
Always going to be looking for crew. If anybody's keen and they've got experience, I need all the help I can get.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I don't know how it's going to pan out right now.
There's
There's a little bit of reaching into the unknown. But I suppose what I would like is for Scatterling to become something where other people can sign up to find their matches.
Right, okay.
And
So
reach
there's
out to spend that.
potential to kind of spread that into other areas and other families.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I'm not religious, but I'm a solid believer that we all came from
We all
Homo
came from
sapien,
Africa.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah, we all came from Africa. as
Yeah,
you say.
200,000 years ago when we started walking on two legs.
I guess if you're in a place and somebody else has got a thing there, then that might be they might be able to get in touch with you and say, could you check out my uncle, or could you check out my ancestor?
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't reached out to the DNA companies at the moment, but I'm hoping that it sparks some interest with them.
Right.
And then, you know, people can today. Actually, you know what? That's a good idea. People can today go and do their own commercial testing.
Yeah.
Today, so they can go and check out the genetics and their ancestry, and it will pop up with a match. And if you see my face on one of your matches, please reach out, and I will come and teach you how to sail for a week. I'll cook you dinner, and we'll do some talking.
That sounds brilliant. That sounds great. I will definitely be looking for that YouTube channel.
Nice.
And I'll be your first subscriber.
It will be SV Scatterling.
SV Scatterling.
SV Scatterling.
Oh, that should be easy enough to find.
Cool.
Brilliant. Well, I'm here for a couple of days, so we'll take her out, see what we can do. And,
This is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Scottish weather is going to give us a bit of a challenge. So I've brought 2 sets of waterproofs.
As long as it doesn't rain.
Don't know if you can hear the sound of the rain. It's hammering it down.
World champs!
It's absolutely wild. No lives lost, eh?
No,
No lives lost.
no, everybody's off.
God, that's pretty close there, dude.
I know.
Look at that smile. That's not because you won the World Cup.
That's totally. Springboks, mate.
Who cares?
What colour bikini?
Oh, it's pink.
Oh, right.
Photographs, mate. All day long. All day long.
You have the answer to everything, yeah.
Scatterlings and fugitives, hooded eyes and weary brows, seek refuge in the night. They are the scatterlings of Africa, each uprooted one, on the road to the Lamamba, where the world began. I love the scatterlings of Africa.
Bye, Doug.
Far below, we live forever. Dreams of what we were.
Well, that was a great couple of days. Some challenging sailing on the Clyde as usual. Gusting to 30 knots a couple of times. But it was nice to get out on that boat and see how a more modern boat sails, which I don't often get the chance to have a go at. And a great story from that guy, Colin's. He's got a big dream, and he looks like he's well on his way to making it happen. So all I can do is wish him the best, and who knows, maybe we might get a chance to go out and sail with him again. Maybe help him do a couple of his legs when he starts getting some distance on him, and going to visit some of his relatives. So subscribe to his channel and enjoy his story. Bye bye for now.